Ever had one of those light bulb moments where you realize a job is, like, way more than meets the eye?
I think we've all been there.
Right. Well, it happened to me the other day at the hardware store. I went in for a simple sprinkler head replacement. You know, those ones that spray in a circle?
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought it'd be a quick in and out trip. But it turns out there are like a million different types, each with different spray patterns, water pressures, the whole shebang.
Oh, I've been there. It's overwhelming.
Totally. And I'm standing there totally lost when the store manager walks up. And he doesn't just point me to the right aisle. He, like, explains the different sprinkler types, helps me calculate the water pressure I need. I mean, this guy was a fountain of knowledge.
You're like the hidden heroes of home improvement.
Seriously. It made me realize there's so much more to this role than just, ringing up sales.
Oh, absolutely. It's a unique combination of customer service, management, and even a bit of therapy on the side sometimes.
No kidding. So to really understand what goes on behind that tool belt, we're diving into some resources from RoleCatcher, that career platform that's like a cheat sheet for job seekers.
Love their stuff. They've got this in-depth breakdown of the hardware and paint shop manager role. It's super insightful.
Perfect. Let's get into it then. What exactly does a hardware and paint shop manager do all day, besides, rescuing clueless DIYers like me?
Well, according to RoleCatcher, it boils down to three main areas. Customer service, of course, but then also management and administration. It's like they're conducting an orchestra, making sure all the moving parts work in harmony.
Okay, so more than just mixing paint and restocking shelves. What does that conductor role actually look like day to day?
Well, on any given day, they might be training new employees on, say, the latest point-of-sale system, or analyzing sales figures to optimize their inventory. Got to keep those shelves stocked.
Makes sense.
Or they could be negotiating with suppliers to get the best price on lumber, dealing with customer issues, maybe even planning store displays and promotions.
Wow, so it's like they're running their own mini business within a business.
You got it. And with the rise of online ordering and home delivery, they're also expected to be masters of logistics.
That's a lot to juggle. Sounds like it could be pretty rewarding, though, especially for someone who likes, variety in their day.
Definitely. RoleCatcher highlights that. This role is perfect for someone who's got that entrepreneurial spirit, enjoys being hands-on, solving problems on the fly.
Right. But they're also upfront about the not-so-glamorous parts,
Yeah.
right? Like, what are some of the downsides of being a hardware and paint shop manager?
Well, let's just say long hours are definitely part of the territory. Think weekends, holidays, especially during those peak seasons when everyone's tackling their DIY projects.
Yeah, springtime hits and suddenly everyone's a gardener or a deck builder.
Exactly. So work-life balance, it can be a bit of a tightrope walk.
I bet. And I imagine there's a lot of pressure to, keep the ship running smoothly.
Oh, absolutely. You're responsible for the store hitting its targets, managing inventory, dealing with any unexpected hiccups. Remember that sprinkler head shortage you mentioned earlier?
Don't remind me. I can only imagine the customer service nightmares.
Right, you gotta have thick skin, be a master of conflict resolution. Those spirited customer interactions you mentioned, they come with the territory.
Not a job for the easily flustered. But, okay, so let's say someone is up for the challenge. Maybe they love DIY, have a knack for problem solving, and don't mind a little bit of chaos. What kind of experience do they like need to have manager on their resume already?
That's where it gets interesting. RoleCatcher stresses that you don't necessarily need years of management experience to thrive in this role. What they really emphasize is the importance of transferable skills.
Transferable skills. Okay, break that down for me. What exactly does that mean?
It's about those skills you've picked up throughout your career, even if they weren't in retail or management specifically. Let's say you've worked in a fast-paced restaurant before.
Okay, I'm seeing it.
You've probably mastered time management, multitasking, staying cool under pressure. Maybe you had to deal with a difficult coworker too. That's conflict resolution experience right there.
Right, right. So you might have more relevant skills than you realize, even without that formal management title.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher does a great job of helping you identify and showcase those skills in your resume, your cover letter, you name it.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, but even with transferable skills, I'm guessing there's still a typical career path within a hardware and paint store, right?
Absolutely. Think of it like this. Most people start at an entry-level position, maybe a sales associate, a cashier, something like that.
Okay.
As they learn the ropes, get familiar with the products, master the art of paint
Oh,
mixing.
the paint mixing. I'm still scarred from my last attempt at grage.
Well, imagine conquering that.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, as you gain experience, you might move up to a senior sales role, maybe even supervise a team, or manage a specific department.
Makes sense. And eventually work your way up to assistant manager, and finally, the big kahuna, hardware and paint shop manager.
Precisely. It's a clear path for growth, and RoleCatcher outlines the skills and experience you'd need at each stage. They even point you to resources for professional development, like courses on inventory management or retail leadership.
That's really helpful. Okay, so let's say you've got the skills, the experience, and maybe even a healthy obsession with power tools. How does RoleCatcher actually help you land the job? So it's more than just a job board, huh? It's like having a whole career coaching team in your pocket.
Totally. They go way beyond just listing jobs, Like, they have tools for tailoring your resume and cover letter to each specific job.
Oh, that's handy.
Right. And they even have this AI thing that analyzes your skills and matches you with relevant job openings.
Whoa. It's like a dating app, but for your career.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You mentioned earlier they do something unique with interview prep, too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They've got this huge database of interview questions, and not just like generic ones. They're specific to the role, like, hardware and paint shop manager. Oh, wow. So you can practice answering real-world questions.
Yep. You can practice. You can even get AI feedback on your answers. It's pretty wild.
That's amazing. Talk about a confidence booster.
Right. And it helps you get ready for those curveball questions that interviewers throw your way. Remember that example RoleCatcher gave about dealing with a difficult customer?
Uh-huh.
Being prepared to answer those kinds of questions well is really important.
It really makes you think differently about those experiences. It's like,
Yeah.
how can I use this to show that I can handle whatever comes my way?
Exactly. And, that brings us back to what we were talking about before about the human element. RoleCatcher emphasizes this too. Even with all the fancy tech and AI, those softer skills are still super important, like communication, empathy, building relationships.
Right, like being able to connect with people face to face, it still matters, even in a world of online shopping and self-checkout.
Totally. And especially in a place like a hardware store,
Right.
where people are coming in, they often need help, they need advice.
And that personal touch can make all the difference.
For sure. And that's really what makes a great hardware and paint shop manager, I think. It's about more than just managing the inventory or whatever. It's about being a problem solver, someone who's genuinely passionate about helping people tackle those home improvement projects.
Totally. It's like being a mentor, a guide, a friendly face in a sea of confusing aisles.
Perfectly said.
Well, on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of hardware and paint shop managers. But before we go, we want to leave you with this. Next time you're at the hardware store, really take a moment to appreciate the folks working there.
Yes.
Because they're probably doing way more than you realize. They're juggling a million tasks, helping customers like us navigate the wonderful world of DIY. And who knows, maybe you'll even be inspired to join their ranks.
And hey, if you're looking for more career inspiration or want to see what else is out there, definitely check out RoleCatcher.
They've got a ton of great resources and insights, no matter where you are in your career journey. Until next time, happy job hunting.
Happy hunting.